Here's the Heisman bottom side control escape system. It starts with the basic option and then it continues to build, but we need to remember we're always actually trying to go back to our first option. It's always gonna be there, is my point. So if it doesn't work right away, we're gonna go on for our other options. They might work, but if they don't work, there's a really good chance we can just jump right back to our first one. And it starts like this. It starts, I'm in bottom side control and I have my throat frame, my hip frame, and I'm shrimping out and I'm bringing my knee between the two of us. But as I've said before, don't bring your knee across your partner's belt line. You're vulnerable to that leg attack. So we'll turn it on. So here we are again. I shrimp out to get my knee in, 1 butterfly, 2 butterfly. TJ is giving me lots of space so you can see how my knee frame is an underhook and then my throat frame turns into an overhook. Realistically, they had to keep that pressure on exactly, and we'd be staying chest to chest almost the whole time, and I'm lifting and kicking up. That's the first option. But as we've all probably experienced, when we go to bring that knee between the two of us, all they gotta do is drop to their hip to that judo side control. So even here, throughout this system, hey Bravo said leaning on a door. I'm still trying to bring my knee between the two of us. I'm even pushing on my foot so that if I were able to get that knee through, I'm recovering, or I could even attack the arm. But again, when I go to shrimp and he turns down, let's just assume we're not able to get it. He's got too good of a control. So now let's rotate. So start at the top again. So I go to shrimp, but he turns right then and there. I need to pummel through to that double C clamp on his bicep. And again, I'm right on his bicep, right here. Not down, here we are. The name of the game right here is patience. It's actually, I wanna just annoy and frustrate my opponent, my partner, by my control, right? And I'm just gonna hold this as long as I can. In fact, that's a game I like to play. I'll get to this position and roll, and just see how long I can stay right here without even going back to anything else. Now, oftentimes, this frustrates people, so they wanna get real heavy on that arm and drive their shoulder back to my throat, but you know what he does? He turns his knee back down, or his hips back down so I can knee escape. So right there, I'm going back to my first option. Just from holding him in a place that's actually quite safe for me, especially if strikes are being thrown. Right now, let's say he reaches his arm back. As long as I trace down his shoulder, right? I don't want to try to, because if I grab his wrist to do this, he can wrist roll. And if I just control the shoulder, he obviously still has lots of control. So again, I'm at the elbow. Now, if I lose the elbow because he pulls back and then he goes forward again, I just kind of trace down his arm. So it's important to be able to just always find this grip exactly here. So this next option is a Marcelo Garcia thing, right? The GOAT. So again, I go to shrimp. It doesn't work, so I get this C clamp. Now look how, remember I said I'm leaning on him, still trying to get that knee through? My left foot is on the mat, in this case, because it's on my right side. And I'm gonna keep that foot like where it is that I could bridge. It doesn't move. The mistake that people make is they turn their hips over here. That's wrong. I'm gonna be like this. Now, again, if we're just chilling here for a long time, but I can feel this option, my shoulder hand that's on his shoulder is gonna go down to his elbow, and I'm almost like a backstroke to sit up, but at the same time, I'm doing a hip heist, and I'm kicking my leg right under. And it should feel silly. It should be a little bit frustrating for my partner how easily I can turn my hips down, and I'm on top. That one takes some feeling, but it's a perfect teeter-totter, right? And again, if I'm here and I turn my hips over, I can't push my partner off of me. But when I'm pushing off the mat and I slide down, now look, this backstroke, so we'll even turn just a little. We're here, I'm bridging in, trying to get that knee through. I go for the backstroke at the same time that I kick that leg out. I'm on top. There's a pretty good chance, or it's a common thing, that when I go to turn my hips down, he realizes he's about to fall backward, right? So I'm about to get that sweep. So he turns his hips back down to, but I just regard. He turned his hips down to not get tipped, and I go right back to the first option again. So here we are again, and I start at the top. I go to knee escape, it doesn't work. And I go here, we chill. I try the Marcelo, it doesn't work, I knee escape, or it works. Here's the other thing that'll happen. When they turn through that judo side control, and we're chilling here, they keep trying to escape this arm. So instead of just bringing it back and then bringing it forward, right, you're gonna punch me right there. So he starts to find his way out. Now, the way with the Marcelo, we brought the shoulder hand to the elbow. Now it's the right hand's job to do work. So as he goes to swim out, look how I rotated my hand from here to here. So right now, my thumb is behind, and as he goes to swim out, right, my thumb goes to in front. And it's so important because this right here, this point, his elbow, is such a magical point in jiu-jitsu. If he went to swim out and I was below his, look how I have no control whatsoever. But as he goes to swim, I'm so strong here. Now, different things are gonna happen right in this position here. Let's scoot back just a little. But if I'm able to just keep sitting up and shrimping out, that's the real goal. And you know what? If I do shrimp out, I'm not gonna stop controlling this elbow. If I can, I'm gonna get up and I'm controlling that elbow. He has to break down to a hip so that I don't take his back. And I'll walk it all the way. I get a full-on sweep and pass with that. So, again, I go for it, but this time he swims out, so I'm going to the Heisman. Now, he's either gonna be right in the middle of my body, which means I have to make him commit to one way or another, or he's gonna be on my hips, or he's gonna be on my shoulders, right? So mid-body, low or high. If he's on my shoulders, now it's too hard for me to keep shrimping out, right? Like that first option I did. So if he's on my shoulders, now I'm gonna turn my hips down, I'm gonna pike, and that created space that I can now take up and go to his back. So, right now we've talked about the ABCs of it, but we can get to the point where we don't have to start at the very first step. To do this, I could just have got my guard passed. Look, here I am, and I just went right to it here. Now, because he was low on my hips, I go out the top way. If I was here and he gets real high on my shoulders, that's when I pike and take the back. But remember, if at any point I'm in the Heisman part of the game and I'm having too much trouble committing to either shrimping out or piking, why? It's because his hips are down. So you know what I get to do? Go right back to the first option, that re-guard. So one more time all the way through, just hitting each option. First, I get the escape. Give me a little more pressure. So each option again. I get the knee escape, 1 butterfly, 2 butterfly. Nice. I try to shrimp, but he goes, and now first thing I'm doing is chilling. If he tries to put his weight back down, he forgot, and he let me re-guard. I knee escape, he turns, I go bicep, and I turn out for the Marcelo. Or he goes to swim out, so I switch hands. If he's low on my body, I shrimp. Look how I keep taking that little back stroke and create that space. TJ tried to follow me up just a little bit, says you can't. I gotta fight, I gotta keep that post. It's not always just the easiest, prettiest thing. There's drilling the kata, then there's the real application of it. 2 different worlds, but we have to be able to do the kata first, of course. Back over here. Or I go right into it, but now he's high on my shoulders, so I pike and I'm out the back door and take the back. Or I'm in that battle, but I can't get out either way. Well, his hips are down, so I re-guard. It's a big system, and any one of those moves are great, but they really build upon each other. And remember, we start at the very beginning. That's just to learn. Because at some point, again, you can go right to that Heisman. You can start just taking a little wormhole right to exactly where you want to go without always having to be on such a pre-established path, right? But we use the pre-established path to learn how to just jump into our options.